Chapter 15. Welcome to Amazing Andy's Awesome Animal Show. 30 kids roared as Amazing Andy leaped up onto the stage. This is Reptile Ron, and together we are going to introduce you to the mysterious, magical world of animals. Everyone went nuts again. In the next 30 minutes, the following things happened. A raccoon ate a stick of bamboo. A snake curled around Erwin's stomach. A fox ran up to the porch to use his teeth to grab a balloon by the string, ran back to Amazing Andy and wrapped it around his foot. A turtle climbed onto another turtle's back, and then they piggybacked across the table. 2 gophers played ping pong with tiny rackets. Erwin fed lettuce to a very small alligator. I guess the alligator was in a bad mood though, because Reptile Ron had to leave in the middle of the show to return him to their trailer. An iguana named Leo sat on Baxter's head and peed, and a bunch more stuff happened too. I bet it was the greatest half hour of Erwin's life. If not, it was definitely in his top 5. Everyone else loved it too. Mr. and Mrs. Wonk were grinning as if they were the greatest parents in the world, which at that very moment I guess they were. And now, proclaimed Amazing Andy, for our final exhibit of the afternoon, may I present to you Elfie, our beloved parrot, who has a special song prepared. And with that, Reptile Ron whipped off a sheet that was covering a cage to reveal the biggest, most colorful bird I've ever seen. And you could tell this was a bird who loved performing in front of an audience. He took one look around, extended his wings as far as they would go, and believe it or not, took a long bow, I swear. Then Elfie started to sing, "Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear person whose birthday it is." He paused while Amazing Andy pointed to the crowd. We all yelled, "Erwin!" Elfie continued, "Happy birthday to you." The crowd was going nuts before Elfie finished his last note. Then he bowed again, even longer than last time. "Thank you," Andy yelled, while everyone cheered. "Thank you guys all so much. Have a great rest of your party, and happy birthday, Erwin." As all the kids started to chat excitedly about what they just saw, Mrs. Wonk held up her hand. "Hey, everyone listen up. It's time for cake and presents." You could hear the yay all the way to the next town. We all charged toward the screen porch. "No running," Mrs. Wong hollered, but she might as well have been trying to tell an ocean not to make waves. It was basically a stampede, led by her very own son, who was gleefully rubbing his hands together as he contemplated the joy of 30 presents just for him, followed by all the chocolate peanut butter cake he could eat. And then Erwin stopped short, which made all the kids crash into him from behind. His mouth formed into a shape of a terrified scream, but no sound came out. I ran up next to him. "Erwin, are you okay? What is it?" But before I could answer, Mrs. Wonk sprinted right by me onto the porch. Her mouth also formed into the shape of a scream, but sound did come out. It sounded kind of like, "Ah!" Also, I think there might have been a curse word in there somewhere, but I can't quite be sure. She lifted up a trembling arm and pointed. The presents, they're gone. They're all gone." My eyes shifted over to the table where all the presents had been stacked up earlier like a tower of colorful delight. But now there was nothing there, not even a bow or a ribbon. All that was left was a plastic tablecloth flapping in the breeze with a small rip at one end. "No!" cried Erwin, who had found his voice. "My presents!" Mrs. Wonk yelled out, "Herbert! Herbert! Someone has stolen the presents!" Herbert, who was Mr. Wonk, had gone back to the grill after the show. "What are you talking about?" he hollered back. "Someone has stolen the presents," screamed Mrs. Wonk. "My presents!" yelled Erwin, as if there were any confusion. Fact, animals don't like screaming and yelling. While the various Wonks were trying to figure out how to deal with this horrible trauma, and the various kids were trying to figure out if this meant that we wouldn't be getting cake, there was a squawk from the stage, where Amazing Andy and Reptile Ron were still packing up the animals. We all turned just in time to see a skunk wiggle out of Andy's hands, sprint over to the porch area, turn around, and let out a blast of skunk spray in our direction. "Ew!" everyone screamed. People started running in every possible direction, trying to figure out if they got any skunk spray on them. All the noise made the little fox bounce up and down in his cage. The the possum roll over and play dead, and Alfie the parrot proclaim, "Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday," over and over in a nervous chatter. By the time Erwin started crying, we knew we weren't getting any cake. "Party's over," announced Mrs. Wonk. "Everybody needs to call their parents." I ran over to Erwin to try to make him feel better, but Baxter and Daisy had gotten to him first. Other kids were trying to cheer him up too, but we all knew it was a lost cause. "Who would do that?" he kept saying between sobs and gasps of air. "Who would take my presents?" "I have no idea," I told him. "A terrible person, that's who." Amazing Andy came up to the porch to find out what was going on. "Is everything okay? I heard a big commotion." He swung his head behind him. "Reptile Ron is trying to calm down the animals. They're all a bit spooked." "No, Amazing Andy, everything is not okay," Mrs. Wonk said, with a tremble in her voice. "Somebody has ruined my son's perfect day by stealing all his birthday presents." Andy's face turned white. "Oh no," he said. "Oh no, oh no, oh no. I'm so sorry." "It's a disaster," Mrs. Wonk said. Reptile Ron came running over. "I got everyone settled in," he said. "Rascal was a little tricky, but I managed to calm her down with some extra treats. What's going on?" "The presents are gone," Andy said. "Oh no," Reptile Ron said. "Not again." Andy glared at him like he'd just told a secret. "What do you mean?" asked Mr. Wonk. Andy sighed and took a deep breath. "The same thing happened about a month ago at another party we worked at," he said. "It was in Shoreview, a few towns over. We were in the cul-de-sac of a dead-end street, and all the presents had been put in one of the upstairs bedrooms. When we finished the show, everyone headed back to the house, and the presents were gone." "That's crazy," Mr. Wonk said. "I think I should call the police." Mrs. Wonk shook her head. "I don't want a whole thing right now with all these children around," she said. "We'll call later." While everyone just stood there trying to figure out what to do next, a chirpy voice behind us said, "Does this mean you're not going to do my party?" We all turned to see Mara standing there, her face bright red with excitement and worry. "Amazing Andy is performing at my party next Sunday," she explained. "I can't wait. You're still coming, right? You promised to bring a boa constrictor." "I did?" said Amazing Andy. "Oh, right, I did." He tried to smile reassuringly. "Of course I'll be there," he said. "The show must go on. Everyone just needs to keep a closer eye on things, of course, so something like this never, ever happens again." "Oh, we will," Mara chirped. "We'll be super careful." I looked at Erwin, who was drying the last of his tears. "Did you hear that?" I said. "Amazing Andy is performing at Mara's party next week." He nodded. "Yep, I heard. I hope the boa constrictor eats Mara's left arm." Mr. and Mrs. Wonk looked appalled. "Erwin, that's a terrible thing to say." "Well, this has been a terrible day," he yelled, and then he ran inside the house and slammed the door. And that was the end of that. Fact, there aren't many people angrier than a birthday boy whose party has just been ruined.